Teaching number 93. Welcome to you, hearts hungry and thirsty for light. Be with me and you will never die because I am life. Yesterday you felt you were dying because you had lost hope and faith. There was no light in your heart to guide you along the path of true life, nor a voice that told you with charity, "Come, this is the path of peace," until you heard my word always full of love and consolation, and its light restored your calm. Your blindness has been illuminated by the light of your conscience, and it always dictates prayer, charity and amendment. Thus you have come before my presence, and my word has been like a luminous and saving beacon that illuminated your path. From that moment, you have understood that this light can only spring from me, and you have told me, "Lord, it is you, whom I waited so long for. Today I know that I loved you and needed you, Master." Yes, disciples, here I am helping you take the first steps on the path of ascension, until you are prepared as true disciples of my teaching and my revelations, to later send you to regions and nations to spread this faith. The fight will be in full time of sin, of calamities and pains, and you will not have more resources than those of your spirituality nor more weapons than the truth. I have chosen you poor, clumsy and humble, like land without cultivation, but propitious, to be fertilized and receive the spiritual seed. I have not come in search of philosophers, theologians or scientists, but of the humble people who have always waited for me and come to my call, to restore to their spirit the forgotten or misused heritage. Humanity has not been able to penetrate to the bottom of the revelations of the first two times, but in this, the third, my word will make you understand, interpret and practice my previous teachings, joining them to the present ones. At this time, I have not been born to the world as a man, I have come to you in the light of my Spirit-made human word, and in this I give you my essence, to raise faith in your heart. I am resurrecting and awakening you, making your eyes blinded by the darkness of this world, contemplate the eternal truth. I come to reveal to you what the man of science cannot teach you, because it is not known. He has slept in his earthly greatness and has not risen to me in search of my wisdom. The hearts of the pastors who in different sects and religions should have taught the spiritual science that is greatness and richness for the spirit, have been closed. I have seen that the law and doctrines that I bequeathed to humanity in past times, are hidden and have been replaced by rites, external worships and traditions. But you, who intimately recognize that the essence of this word is the same that Israel received on Mount Sinai and the one that the crowds heard on the lips of Jesus in the second era, you will be the ones who, with your worship and your works, teach that the divine law should not be forgotten by complying with foolish traditions that do not benefit the spirit. Learn from me, disciples, do not remain in the dark anymore, prepare yourselves in spirit and matter so that you will soon come to light and my message may be known. Prepare yourselves so that I make known to you my will through your inspiration. I want the light of my spirit to shine in your mind and that the words that come from your lips come from the spirit. Do not try to talk about this work if you are not prepared to feel your words. Spirit, heart and mind will have to unite in your being, if you want to serve as a means for my word to pass through you. The new generations will no longer listen to me in the form that you now witness, because the term indicated by me in which I will stop manifesting myself in this way is approaching, it is 1950. Until the last day of that last year I will give you my word, I will give you my word, I will speak tirelessly, I will encourage you and my very gentle voice, of essence and light, will come like a torrent over my people. Those who listen to me until the end, must be strong and will remain as an example of obedient disciples. They will not weaken in tests, will not park or split. What would become of this people if when some fought for spirituality, others lethargy in ancient and backward practices and useless traditions? You will fight together so that you do not weaken in the journey and you will ensure that you clearly hear the voice of conscience. Live alert so that you are not weak beings, but strong spirits. Guide your steps along the path of charity, love and justice. Do not deprive yourselves of what I have arranged for your healthy bodily recreation. I also tell you that you do not torment your spirit by denying what belongs to it, so that both, body and spirit, form a single will and over these the conscience that is my divine light watches over them. I do not want the world to wrap you in its materialism and take away from you the grace that I have entrusted to you, because you would return to your life of misery and pain, from which I have rescued you. Do not forget that I have come to save you, helping you to overcome your weakness, to break the chains that oppress you and come to experience the satisfaction of having rid yourselves of weaknesses, illnesses and miseries. Everyone who rises up in pursuit of my footprint, will find in me the strength and a Cyrenean who will accompany him until the end of the journey. Whoever hungers and thirsts for light and salvation, will find in my work the bread and water of eternal life. Strengthen your spirit for difficult times, to such an extent that if you were to fall into prison for following my footsteps, remembering the sufferings of your Master, you feel comforted, knowing that I will be with you in that time. If you contemplate that a loved one has fallen on the bed of pain and is about to expire, turn your thoughts to me and meekly let my will be done, then you will see a prodigy take place, as a reward for your compliance and your faith before my designs. Those of you who are left alone on the path of life, remember Jesus away from his mother and his disciples, walking meekly towards Calvary, followed by a mob, but alone in his heart. When you bring that memory to your mind, you will experience a sweet sensation of consolation, thinking that I promise to accompany you in your sorrows and to remove your cup of bitterness. Pain will purify you, and afterwards, when the time of your afflictions is over, you will consider yourselves happy that there is every opportunity to imitate your Master, and you will feel that you are the possessors of a spiritual inheritance. Study my doctrine carefully and you will verify how a lesson of mine confirms the previous one, in the same way that my word of this time confirms what I told you in the times past. Few are the men who know the signs that a new age has begun and that I am manifesting myself spiritually to humanity. Most of them consecrate their lives and efforts to material progress, and in that deaf and sometimes bloody struggle to reach their goal, they walk like blind men, lose their course, do not know what they are after, have not been able to see the clarity of the new dawn. They do not perceive the signs and are very far from having reached the knowledge of my revelations. This humanity has believed more in the doctrines and the words of men, than in the revelations that through the times I have granted. By any chance do you expect that the Father in his justice will send you greater signs than those you contemplate at every step, to feel and believe that this is the time predicted for your manifestation as the Spirit of truth? O men of little faith! Now you will understand, disciples, why sometimes I tell you that my voice cries out in the desert, because there is no one who truly listens and attends to it. Wake up, people, so that you feel shaken by this voice of justice, so that you feel moved to announce to your brothers that the law, the light, the judgment and with it the salvation of humanity, have come to the world. Do not look at your fulfillment within this fight as impossible. From now on I anticipate telling you that it will not be only you who will redeem this humanity, nor who will transform the life of the peoples. I will do those works, because they are superhuman. I just want you to fulfill the mission that corresponds to you and let the new generations carry my seed beyond where you have managed to carry it. Can you imagine the joy of those who return to spiritual life having fulfilled on earth the destiny that their Father has outlined for them? His satisfaction and his peace are infinitely greater than all the satisfactions that the Spirit can receive in human life. And I am offering you this opportunity so that you may be among those who enjoy when you return to your home and not among those who suffer and cry in the midst of their turmoil or repentance. I rush to listen to your times of help, when you fight like shipwrecked against the raging waves of that sea of passions in which humanity navigates at this time. Your prayer reaches me, and my charity extends like a mantle of peace, as in another time when accompanied by my disciples I sailed on the Sea of Galilee, and the rough waves threatened to sink the boat, they fearful asked me with anguish to save them, because they felt they were perishing, and I showed them that he who is with me and trusts in me, never perishes. The boat in this time is my work, the sea is life, the storm is the passions, the vicissitudes, the tests. Blessed is he who is inside this boat when the storms break loose, for he will be saved. Cross that sea and go with absolute faith after the shore, knowing that therein is perfect peace. Who can get lost on this journey if they navigate guided by the compass of their conscience? If anyone feels fatigued, call me. If someone else feels that his faith wavers, pray and I will be at his side instantly to give him help, but let no one try to go back to the starting point or resign himself to perish engulfed by the waves of the storm. Perfect your prayer, because it is necessary that you know the spiritual force that it imparts. It is the ladder by which you will ascend to me in a true communion of spirits. How the path of one who extinguishes his faith or loses trust in me is darkened. You who are watching, pray for the world that sleeps. Do you find it strange that I seek you so eagerly? It is that you do not have true knowledge of what my love is for you, or of what you mean to me, because you have formed a very poor concept of your Father, since while some of you feel like gods on earth, others on the contrary, feel unworthy of love. I tell you that if material nature has been astonishment and wonder for men, greater and more wonderful is spiritual life, and for your glory and enjoyment, know that you belong to both natures. Thus my word comes to teach you how much you need to know about me and about yourselves for your elevation. On this day it is my will to reveal to you that by the year 1950 the 144,000 spirits appointed and destined by me to take my seed of love to the world will be gathered. Some will be incarnated and others in the spiritual valley. All will remain awake under the light of my inspiration, and each one will be a torch that will light the way of great multitudes and will lead them to the spiritual kingdom. At the time when Israel was crossing the desert in search of the promised land, it was the tribe of Levi who taught the people to worship and reminded them and helped them understand the divine law. Once the tribes were established in the land that they had conquered with their faith and perseverance, the tribe of Levi continued to be the one that watched over the law. But time has passed, the spirit of man has evolved, and the divine seed that Israel received entrusted reached many peoples and is now scattered throughout humanity. That people has resurfaced full of light on earth, to receive in their spirit the new revelations that they will bring to the nations. See how now it is no longer just the tribe of Levi that is in charge of watching over the divine law, but a multitude of spirits that will be joined by all those who wake up with the desire to be part of the people of God. Here they are, moved by my word, many of those who at that time fell in fear when they heard the omnipotent voice of Jehovah at Sinai, of those who had left captivity, tears and humiliation to rise up in search of the land of blessing and peace. Your eyes have been opened to a new light that makes you see clearly the path traveled by your spirit up to this time. This people will also fight to free themselves from the new Pharaoh represented by the world that feeds its idolatry, its miseries and temptations. They will also cross a desert where they will feel alone and isolated from others, fought by many of their brothers who will try to block their way, but once they reach the necessary spirituality, they will hear in the depths of their beings the divine voice speaking to them about the law of justice and love, but it will not be to the heart where that light descends but directly to the spirit. When the people are practicing this doctrine, each of their works will serve to build the spiritual temple within man. All of you who yearn to be part of that people, penetrate your interior, saturate yourselves with faith so that you may be strong in the fight and become worthy of being called Israel. As in the first era I named Jacob strong to the good for love, for forgiveness, strong in zeal and virtue, strong against sin, pain, slander or misery. After giving you this lesson, my eyes will follow your steps to see the way you practice my teachings to judge your works of true love. I will give you the opportunity to work reaching out to the orphan, the widow, the one who has fallen in the fight, the one defeated by vice, the one hungry for light, the one thirsty for truth. Do not attribute to chance the cases that you will find at every step, think that it is your Master who knocks at the doors of your heart. It is true that I say that you are in the time in which your spirit justifies its existence on earth through charity. My voice will reach your spirit every moment to ask you what you are doing, what you invest your life in, and if you are fulfilling your mission. Understand that you have a great work to do, it is the work accumulated over a long period of neglect. Do not think that I am the one who overwhelms you with heavy burdens. I want you to pay off your debt and fulfill your mission on earth, a mission that is not limited to fulfilling your duties to your family. In addition to these, you have the duty to love one another without distinction, and to serve one another without being held back by differences of creed, language or class. My doctrine will destroy the seed of selfishness, thus giving your spirit an endless field in which you can fulfill your mission of love. Day after day I will give signs to humanity to wake up, I will speak to some in their prayer, or others I will prepare with intuition so that they perceive my voice. To those who live far from spirituality, I will give revealing, prophetic dreams, I will speak to the materialized through the elements of nature, since they only believe in what they see or in what they can prove with their science. But if they, despite those calls, remain asleep or deaf, I will make them feel my power and my justice, which they have challenged so much. I speak to you of justice, because the time has come when my sickle will come to reap the ripe harvest. I will gather the fruits of goodness, the golden wheat of love, and everything else will be destroyed. The fruits of sin and the weeds of selfishness, hatred and pride will fall, cut down under the inexorable edge of the sickle of my justice. I come in time to reap. Remember that at that time I told you that the harvest must not be reaped before its time, but that the wheat and tares must be allowed to grow together, come to maturity and reap later. Isn't this what I'm doing now? See how my works today confirm my teaching of the second era. I am speaking to you through the mind of a spokesman, whose understanding I have enlightened, and I have put on his lips words of wisdom, so that the people receive this message as sustenance for their spirit. I see you amazed at this manifestation, so I hasten to tell you, that although this is admirable, it is not yet the last lesson that I have to give you, nor is it the highest expression of my communication with men. Take this manifestation as just a page of the book of spiritual wisdom that is the promise of the new revelations that I will give you. The book is in front of your conscience, it is my wisdom, and torrents of light that bathe your being emerge from that book. You will not be able to get up to fight with true strength, while you are not convinced of the substance and transcendence of this work. That is why in each of my manifestations I overflow my pleasures upon you, so that my people may be convinced that they are advancing along a safe path. Take with love this book in which your mission is written, but do not go to sleep in this era of light. What award could you receive tomorrow if you have no merits? Do not forget that all your struggle has as its purpose the conquest of light, peace, and spiritual perfection. No one ignores that to reach that perfection the right path was pointed out to you, the one that your conscience traced for you, since you emerged into life, and so that you would not deviate from the path when you incarnated on earth, I left my imprint on it. Look for that imprint at any time past or present, and soon you will find it. I have always come looking for you because your spirit, once incarnated, has entered various paths, in which most of the time it has been lost. Ah, weak beings who have fallen for your cause, and then you have blamed me, saying that the path of the children of God is full of temptations. I tell you that where you thought you saw many paths, you should only have taken one, the one that leads to me, that where you saw temptations, they were only fruits that had to be taken with knowledge and respect. Can you conceive that your Father has created something that had the purpose of tempting you to sin? Tomorrow, when humanity frees itself from its burden of ignorance and materialism, it will find that what it considered as a stumbling block, was only a step for its spirit to ascend and have experience, and what he believed to be an abyss was but a test to strengthen him. Then he will discover that what man has considered as the reason for his falls and his errors, are the means to help him in his improvement. Before these teachings, all the superstitions that have been created around evil will disappear from the human heart. How much strength and how much beauty you will discover when you open your eyes to the light of this life. Everything that his ignorance made him misinterpret, causing him to fall into errors and blaming it on the one who created all beings, will disappear from the mind of man. As long as humanity does not understand the true spiritual law, or, feeling attracted to that path, falls into religious fanaticism, it will have to find its life full of stumbling blocks, uncertainties, and shadows. When will you enter the study of my doctrine, which is like a divine sun that illuminates the spirit and never hides? According to you, this is impossible, but I tell you that soon this light will illuminate all beings. The voice of the one you called Rabbi of Galilee is the same one you hear right now, and if at that time I told you, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word of God, now I come to tell you that man must not be sustained by science or human knowledge alone, but by divine essence, because in him dwells the Spirit that only feeds on love, wisdom and peace. Feed and comfort yourselves, O my disciples, so that you may carry the true one. Life in you. Times of struggle and bitterness are approaching, and it is necessary that you be prepared to give testimony of my doctrine, with your faith and firmness in the fulfillment of my teachings. Sometimes my unbelieving disciples would like me to show them the body I wore in the second era, the pierced and bleeding hands, to believe that I am again among my people, and in their hearts they say to me, how can we bear witness to you, if we have not seen you? But I ask you, do you know my words from that time when I announced to you to return? When did I announce to you that I would come as a man? You need to see to believe, because you have materialized. Instead there are those who, without knowing the prophecies, feel my presence and understand the truth. Those are the ones who have a clean mind and heart. The Spirit is endowed with a gaze superior to the human, so that it is he who discovers the truth and sees in it the face of his Father. How do you want to discover the divine with your senses, if your spirit has not previously sensed it? These words are not a reproach to your little faith, nor do I reject you because you doubt. On the contrary, it is precisely those extinguished lamps that I have come looking for to light them with the fire of love of my Spirit. There are those who shudder with joy upon hearing this word. They are those who feel my presence. Tomorrow, when I have stopped communicating in this way, those who, upon hearing me, could not understand me or have doubted, upon becoming spiritual, they will lament when they remember that they were present before my manifestation and did not believe. I will bathe them with my light and they will listen interiorly to my voice that tells them, do not be afraid, look for me in the depths of your heart and there you will find many of my words saved for the moment you need them. Come to me peoples and nations of the world. Come men of all races, my law awaits you in the kingdom of peace, so that you form a single people, the people of God. My peace be with you. Teaching number 94.